In 2008, we embarked on a research project focusing on using creative expressive art therapy as a school community intervention. We had the privilege of involving as research participants a special secondary school where a number of master's and doctoral students focused their research projects. And the whole idea behind this research project was that in South Africa, our children are confronted with numerous traumas. If you consider the violence in our country, if you consider poverty, and approximately 80% of psychologists are white versus 20% psychologists which are African, and this is according to the statistics of the HPCSA in 2004. The majority of our psychologists can therefore not really address the needs of the majority of our population in terms of diversity of languages. So we needed interventions that can address the needs of the majority of the population, knowing that for the vast majority in South Africa, psychological services are not really acceptable. And yet we've got the wonderful practices that include song and dance and music, which is known as creative expressive art therapy. And so the whole idea was, how can we bring interventions into a school community that not only addresses the needs of the learners, but also can build bridges between learners and teachers, and also bring closer collaboration between the school and parents. And we know that creative expressive art can be a safe container in the context of a client and a qualified therapist or psychologist. Having said that, it's not only psychologists that use this. We also know that creative expressive arts are used by social workers and by counsellors. And so trying to move away from the one-to-one interventions to interventions that can work across groups and also within communities. So this symposium will share the research findings of the respective students, and there will also be workshops from well-known creative expressive art therapists in the field that can share their knowledge and their expertise, and hopefully open doors to alternative therapeutic interventions where you can connect the mind and the body and not just use the traditional westernized therapeutic interventions of talking, knowing that trauma affects the brain functioning and makes it very difficult for children, people, also if you consider language and language diversity, to express what they are experiencing. So if you can use song, dance, clay, painting, sand tray work, movement, dancing, bibliotherapy, you're opening a far broader scope of rendering support and engaging the whole body. And so we look very forward to sharing our findings and engaging with participants on the 9th of February 2013.